Hi, guys. Welcome back. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever had the luxury of working from home? And if you've ever worked from home, was there ever a time when your boss or your job asked you to return to the office? And if they did, do you think it was a way for them to quietly fire you by you not wanting to come back to the office? Today, we're going to hear some people that have to return to the office. Let's see if we can all feel what they're going through together.
So many people think that those who work from home can't get their job done and also do things around the house like maybe laundry, prep dinner, take care of pets, etc. But those same people would expect a stay-at-home mom to do all of those things while taking care of their children. I don't know about you all, but my corporate job is way less demanding of my time than my toddler is. And my corporate job gives me breaks and a lunch break. My toddler does not give me any time off. It's just interesting to me how we expect women, usually women, to do all of this for free, but as soon as a job is in the mix, they should only focus on the job.
She brings up a good point. Being a mom, especially the first couple years, is 24/7 all the time, right? And you're expected to still do your work. I don't even think stay-at-home moms, though, I don't think people that have babies stay at home for very long. Usually after what, 3 or 4 months, it's back to the office, maybe even less than that.
So this is a real reason they don't want you working from home. So I was just in a meeting with like some really big tech people. This is like a conference style meeting, workshop. Like I am talking about, there's some really big names in this meeting. So we're talking and they do a presentation on the economy for 2025 and whatever. And like, that's what this meeting is for. And then one of the people asks this person, I won't mention the name, but they asked this person, how are you guys solving the issue of employees asking for more money and bigger raises in 2025 whenever like businesses aren't doing well? And he said, you got to get them to return to office. And I was like, not computing, right? Like I am literally like that meme. And his answer was, and I quote, because I can't make this up. Well, when people are working from home, they feel like they can exploit you more because a lot of your employees are doing side hustles, working remotely, working multiple jobs, doing all these things that they would not do when they're in your office. So they're making more money, or they feel more financially safe because they have multiple sources of income or whatever it is. So when you get them to work from home, they're depending on you for their salary, so they're a lot less loud. I'm sitting here like, and every
That's interesting. There are people that will work from home, but they'll be doing multiple jobs at the same time and they'll get paid full-time benefits and pay for both jobs at the same time. Genius. Absolutely genius. Probably very difficult to pull off. If you're one of the few that can, maybe share your story with us.
I'm getting a $13,000 pay cut because of return to office. An older video I made about this is getting popular again, and I keep getting asked over and over again, where am I coming up with $13,000? Well, I'll tell you. So our childcare situation will need to change. We're gonna have to change some things with our current daycare. That's going to cost us an additional, I'm gonna round up, $5,500 a year. This is on top of what we're already paying every year for daycare. And then I don't know how much I'll spend in gas. I'm gonna guess $200 a month. I'm guessing I'll have to fill up once a week. So that's $2,400 a year. And then I am including a dog walker on this. I know I'm gonna get hate for this, which always shocks me because people usually love dogs more than they love people. But we have a dog with elbow dysplasia, and because of that, it's important for him to be really lean and in shape so it doesn't get worse as he gets older. So I walk him. I walk him every day, either before work or on my lunch, sometimes both. So yeah, I'm gonna pay someone to walk him and keep him healthy, just like you pay for a gym membership to stay healthy. So that's another $5,200 a year. So all of that adds up to $13,000. Now that doesn't include everything. That doesn't include tolls. That doesn't include the additional car maintenance. I'm gonna need tires more often, oil changes more often. That doesn't include clothes, makeup, the little lunches you grab with your coworkers because we're collaborating. That's what this is all about. So that $13,000 is actually a very conservative estimate.
She brings up some good points again. Here's my question for you. Would you pay $5,200 a year so that your dog with elbow dysplasia, I didn't even know dogs had elbows, can walk every day with a dog walker? That's so expensive. Some people spend a lot of money on their pets.
I think it's so funny that Amazon had this like huge return to office initiative only to halt it because they don't have enough space. Like, that's really embarrassing. Like, y'all thought that people would quit because of the return to office, but then they didn't, and so now y'all don't have space. Oh, that truly brought me like all the holiday joy. If you don't know what I'm talking about, like, I will just like have some articles here and you can do your own research, but that made my night.
Well, maybe they were expecting some people to quit their jobs too, and that was their visible way of saying, "Holy moly, we didn't know you guys were actually going to show up." But then again, I don't know the whole story.
Today is officially my first day of returning back from office after taking 2 weeks off for the holidays.
Okay, so this one's a little different. Have you ever gone on an extended holiday or time off of work and then you return? So we're not talking 2 or 3 years. We're talking more along the lines of 2 or 3 weeks.
And a lot of people are walking around asking, "How are you doing? Welcome back. Happy New Year. How are you feeling?" How am I feeling? Well, it takes me 1 to 2 business days to fix my attitude after returning from a vacation. How am I feeling?
1 to 2 business days to get back to work attitude and stuff. Not too bad. I think everyone's like that. It takes you a day or two just to thaw out when you come off of vacation. What's a bummer about vacation is if you have 2 weeks off, you also have the weekends right in there as well. So you end up taking like 18 days off or whatever. Oh no, I guess it's still just 14. Never mind.
I think I screwed myself over like big time this time. I've been at my remote job for over a year, and whenever I signed my contract, it said that there was a chance I'd eventually have to go back and be in some sort of office. And there's no office in my state, so I'd have to move states. My dumbass was like, meh, whatever, what are the chances that's gonna happen? Thought my boss is somewhere that there's no office, most of my team is, like, I'll be fine. Now I'm starting to panic. I found out that they're no longer hiring anyone remotely. You have to be tied to one of these set locations, which again is not where I live. The reason I'm kind of panicking is because so many companies use returning to office as a way to get employees to voluntarily leave. You don't have to do more layoffs. My company has had more than enough layoffs this year, so I imagine they will do anything they can to avoid that. There's still a chance not happening, but when I look at all the pieces together, it's not looking so good for me. Take it from me, really read your job offer and make sure that you're actually comfortable with everything it says. Just assume whatever the worst case scenario is that could happen and make sure that you're okay with that, or else you might be.
Worst case scenarios and do have a way of happening. And then when someone tells you I'm 99.9% sure, those have a way of not happening. Okay, this one says, why do companies hate work from home so much? We have to come to the office even when they're repairing our roof. Yeah, so imagine trying to work with that. That's impossible. But at the same time, she could be exaggerating. What if they're only up there making that noise for a half hour out of the 8 hour day, you know? Still, that would be impossible. Okay, this one says how to survive going back to the office.
Good morning. Let's go to work. My job recently announced we need to go back to the office 5 days a week. Now, that usually wouldn't be a problem for most, but it takes me 2 hours to get to the office one way. So I thought I'd share how I'm surviving. The first thing I'm doing is always making sure I have my breakfast and lunch prepared along with a few snacks, mostly to save money because everything in Seattle is so expensive. The second thing I'm doing is I always like to make sure I have at least one podcast or an audiobook or a playlist that I know will not disappoint. The third thing I'm doing is just trying to make the best of it and romanticizing every part of my day. That means trying new restaurants around town, talking to coworkers, and maybe even trying a few workout classes near the office. If you're in the same boat as me and going back to the office 5 days a week, Just know no matter how long or short your commute is, it's going to be hard. But I hope these 3 things make it a little better. That's it. And
She brings up a great point. Why not try that new gym that you've always wanted to that's closer to the office? Why not try out some of those new restaurants and pubs and diners right there around the office? And who knows, maybe you'll end up reconnecting friendship from the office. Okay, so check out where this girl is working in this one.
What do you mean? What do you mean? What do you mean?
That is crazy. They literally have her in a glass office and it says returning to the office is crazy because what do you mean I don't get my own office space? And if I want to pick up a Teams call, I have to go to a phone booth. So apparently she's just in that little booth there for the Teams call. And apparently she doesn't have her own individual she doesn't have her own office. I don't know where the hell she is.
If you didn't see my last video, I'm now a part of the return to office plague that has hit all of us. So my boss wants me back in the office full time. So I've been working from home, for the last 3 years. Ever since my daughter's been born, I've been working a hybrid schedule of 3 days in the office and 2 days at home. And so now she wants me in full time. So, and I know I have a lot of friends on here who also have work from home jobs, that have their children home with them. Just out of curiosity, where are you working?
She wants the hookup to go get a job where you're working. You know, a lot of people don't realize when you go work from home for 3, 4, 5 months and then you return to the office, it's a real bummer. But when you're working from home for 3, 4, 5 years, like in this person's case, 3 years or so, you just get to the point where you never think you're going to have to go back. It can be very jarring. Here's a case of somebody that has to go back, but they work incredibly far from the office and they have a medical issue. Let's see how she's dealing.
Return to the office update. I am a remote employee. I signed a contract in July for 100% remote designated status. I do travel for my position pretty limitedly. So far, I've only traveled once. I've had multiple canceled work trips due to weather and various things. That being said, I was hired as 100% remote, and I was hired also after the public health emergency. Therefore, there was I wasn't my 100% remote status was not contingent or created due to the COVID public health crisis. Anywho, we find out a while ago that we're expected to return to the office. Mind you, I live 91.3 miles one way away from the office.
Okay, real quick. So she lives darn near 100 miles away. She got hired as a remote office worker, so she's never been in the office, so to speak. Her job had nothing to do with COVID, and now she's being told she has to return. But look what she's doing. She's crocheting a blanket, and that's what jobs fear that you're doing instead of working. You're working on these hobbies and stuff and other jobs and other things. And I just think it's funny that she's actually crocheting a blanket.
And to get there, I would have to go through DC traffic and Baltimore City traffic. And it is 91.3 miles one way. Therefore, it's like 182.6 miles, full round trip. And if you are familiar with the DMV, that is far over 4 hours in commute easily, especially if there's car accidents, road work, construction, you name it, it happens. It's a wild ask, and it's not possible, and I would never have signed my contract had that been the case. If I had known that, I would never have taken it. What have I done so far? Well, I filled out paperwork for what they call a hardship request or something like that. And love my boss. I truly love what I do for a living now. And I absolutely love the people that I work with and everything. It's just this one thing. And this is not up to my manager, not up to my manager's manager. It's like up to our parent organization essentially. And it just is what it is. My boss told me to contact the union. I contacted the union. The union was like, hey, contact me. Like, we'll totally represent you. We're going to push for you to get your exemption. And if not, we'll be very clear with them that this is a case we will be litigating, yada, 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 which was like really nice to have that support. And today I find out like the papers that I submitted almost 2 weeks ago now, or at least a week ago. I'm not the best with time frames. Have gone nowhere. That there's actually no process in place at this time.
They were just expecting her to quit.
Like, you're asking us to come back to the office next month, and you're telling me you have no process in place to send the forms that you told us to fill out if our circumstances met.
I think they were really literally expecting her just to quit. They're like, hey, she just wants to crochet all day. She'll quit, but she's not quitting. She's fighting it. She wants to keep her job. You hired her as a remote. Do you guys agree with me? They should let her keep her job.
It's just wild. Anyways, I selected this job that was 100% remote because I have medical issues that make going into an office near impossible as well. To be quite frank. Anywho, so I met with my physician yesterday to get medical paperwork for a medical accommodation to remain remote. And my doctor was so sweet. She was like, do you need these ASAP? Like, are they hounding you? And I'm like, no. She's like, is your job in jeopardy? I'm like, I mean, my job's in jeopardy because I'm not going to be going. She's like, no, absolutely not. She goes, there's just no way they can accommodate all of this in an office for you the way your, house is set up and, like the actual reality of your medical issues. Like, that's just, like, it's not happening. But
I hope she wins. I really, really do. Why don't you go get your shoes and come with me on a walk? I'm serious. Go get your shoes and let's go for a walk. It's good for you. It's a good way for you to think about having to go back to the office. You can plan your route and stuff while you're on your walk with us. Come on.